My name is Ewan Wallace. I am the current chair of the Society of Chief Officers for Transportation in Scotland. And really what I'm going to try and look at is a few slides about what the Society and the members of the Society undertake in relation to transport and sustainable transport on a pan-Scotland basis. You've already heard from a number of experts this morning. You'll hear from lots of experts this afternoon, and you'll hear from more experts tomorrow as well. I am not one of them, and I have to say, I have a certain expertise, but my expertise is probably around how we bring lots and lots of differing interests that share similar goals together in the most effective way possible. We are a strategic body consisting of members from 32 local authorities and the 7 regional transport partnerships, as well as 2 other organisations as well, looking at a whole range of different transport-related functions. As you can see, it's very much around design, delivery and maintenance of our transport networks and systems. It does feel in my role as chair sometimes a bit like trying to keep a coalition government in order when you have 41 different organisations, but thankfully most of them do see that they have very much a shared and common purpose in terms of what they're seeking to deliver. And it's very much about making sure that we do connect all of the agendas that come forward through the 32 local authorities, through the partnerships, through the different agencies. We do seek to try and make sure that we serve our communities. And the communities can be the largest urban cities, they can be the smallest rural towns and villages, or it can be it can also be the islands, it can be a whole range of different areas, it can be different needs in terms of communities as well. And it's all about what we do to support the wider economic development within Scotland. Very much the expertise within the Society is focused around how you design a solution, how you will take the data that was being talked about earlier, how you put something in that will meet those community needs. We deliver that on the ground, and then we seek to maintain that going forward. I thought particularly earlier on, for those of you who were here this morning, the Carbon Trust speaker earlier, I think touched on a lot of the areas that we're heavily involved in. So here's just some of them in terms of the different aspects. Sometimes the Society is particularly associated with the road maintenance sector, and that is a very important area of work, and it does contribute in a very particular way to making sure that the sustainability agenda, that the carbon reduction agenda is delivered within the wider targets across Scotland. But we also look at developing transport policy to support that. Our members will deal with transport strategies at local level, regional, and will also seek to influence the work of Scottish Government at national level. Vehicle specifications, because we have broadening remits in terms of a chief officer level within local government, more and more of our members are involved in specifying vehicles, but also will be involved in running the internal fleets within organisations as well. And then there's the active travel element, which we've always been involved in, and then we've got a number of very enthusiastic, very dedicated and knowledgeable people within the Society focused on that. Street lighting might be something you don't think about all the time, but I know this audience does, because you know that that is a big element in terms of the energy reduction agenda, and it's something that certainly as a society Scots have been at the forefront of, working with SFT and others, developing toolkits that allow those reductions to be seen. Traffic management, road orders, all those types of things. If you want to do anything that's within the road boundary, inevitably you will be engaged in discussion with members of Scots. That connection continues in terms of inter-planning colleagues, agencies such as SEPA, voluntary organisation, utilities. They're all listed there in terms of we touch all these different areas, and we do seem to be a little bit sought after at times in terms of engaging on different areas of work, which is why I got asked along to speak today, I think, in terms of having met Stuart on a number of occasions. But we will always try to bring a pragmatic approach and a focus on making those high-level strategies actually make them real when we go into those communities. You know, we will inevitably be the ones who will try and explain to communities what's going to be happening, do the consultation with them, take a lot of that forward. We tend to be seen as a delivery arm within local authorities. We then get into the very last section there, the political element. That is a key part of the role that as chief officers within local government we will play. We will always get asked the so what question by the chair of our committee. we will get asked the why, the how much, the when. So we have to be in a place to work with all the different agencies to try and answer those questions to keep things on track. In terms of the collaboration element, that's right at the heart of everything we do. And I don't know if you'll be able to read it particularly, in terms of particularly at the back. The reason I put this graph up is that there seems to be a perception issue when you go and survey the public. This is an extract from an AA survey from about 4 years ago. On this side of the screen, we have environmental issues, way down the pecking order. On the left-hand side, the key concerns of the public are how much it costs them to travel, and the second one is the condition of the road network. Well, what we seek to do is these are all interconnected. If you do one thing, it will aid the others. So it's a key role in terms of collaborating, not just across our membership, but with all those agencies I've just mentioned, to make sure that we shift that public perception. So you can see by tackling the things on the left-hand side of the graph, you will actually aid the things on the right-hand side, will aid the left-hand side. And you would expect me to say this as the chair of the society, but I think we've got a strong record of delivery in this regard. We assess how our network performs, and that's not just the physical network, that's working with colleagues who deliver passenger transport, road safety, who look at everything around reducing the need to travel, all those elements, because we want to move people safely, we want to move them efficiently, and if we don't have to move them at all, then possibly that's a very, very good outcome as well. So we have a strong record in terms of that, and we're always keen to deliver in terms of trial projects within individual areas and then compare and contrast. So based on the connections and the collaborations, that puts us in a very strong position to influence how future strategies and policies may look. I've already mentioned those day-to-day conversations at political level, and you'll be hearing later on from Councillor Stephen Hagan from COSLA, who will perhaps put a little bit more flesh on the bones of how we can assist our politicians at local and national level by telling them how it is, giving them the information and allowing them to make the decisions they do. We can bring that balance in terms of design, maintenance, design, implementation and maintenance. I'll now very quick skip through a few remaining slides in terms of what we actually can achieve in terms of that influence that we can bring. It's all about if we can get people travelling to their places of work, study and leisure, we can do that through local development plans, strategic development plans, overall strategies within the private sector in terms of passenger transport providers. And we can work with them around the how, where are you going to do it, when are you going to do it, how are you actually going to deliver these elements, how much is it going to cost, when is it going to be delivered. We have the ability to influence how that's going to look. And all of that then has the shared outcome of reducing the overall impact on the environment of transport in relation to carbon. Mention was made earlier of the social benefits, and this is something that very much when we carry out transport appraisals, we will look at what the social benefits are, and that might be something as simple as reducing the number of road accidents, or it might be increased connectivity to health services, or the most popular one of all, shopping and going for a cup of coffee and a cake in your local community. But that is economic benefit, that is a social benefit. That ensures that people are able to gain access to the amenities and services that they actually seek, that they value. So all of those different elements, again, members of the society are involved in everything to do with that. The final one is quite a specific one in terms of getting goods to the marketplace. It's maybe, again, it's one that perhaps isn't covered specifically within the wider agenda today, but one thing that Scotland has going against it in many ways is the peripheral nature of ourselves as a country within the European and world context. That means we have to punch above our weight. So I've already mentioned that we seek to influence at a Scottish level and a UK level, but we also have members who are very active in terms of the European dimension, and indeed colleagues in Transport Scotland and ourselves involved in world associations around transport and the roads network. This is a variety of different areas in terms of making sure that the supply chain that aids everything that we do in terms of the wider economy is as efficient as possible. Let's look at how we get things moving from A to B as effectively as we can, and it's a reliable network as well. And the reason about those last three slides, so come to the final one, all of those influence, I think, what is the key thing in terms of what we can actually achieve in terms of the low carbon elements. And that's around the well-designed sustainable places. And certainly that's one thing that we've been very strong as a society. We've developed a number of detailed guides in consultation with our planning colleagues and colleagues within the organisation that Stuart represents, in terms of all the other voluntary organisations that are involved in active travel. And that's become very much an area that we've majored on. That then reflects itself in policies. It then reflects itself in how our politicians take decisions on planning applications, and eventually it will reflect further down the line in how people are able to take decisions and choices about how they make their transport. So it's making that case, it's reframing how all those different elements look. So that's something that I consistently say to the membership. We have to talk the same language as the people within these communities. Stay away from the acronyms. What does it actually mean when you go and talk in those individual communities about the transport choices they have to make and the long-term impacts? So really that's a very quick run through, Stuart, a number of things that we're involved as a society. A number of you may well already be involved in discussions with the membership, but if you're not, then I would encourage you to do so. At this point I was going to put a web link up, but we're currently redoing our website, so I'll probably make sure we get something out to the wider network. Very much a strapline for the society, and really I'd commend all of you to get in touch with ourselves as a society. We're keen to work across all the different sectors. Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you.